What would your reaction be if you had photographed an alien? Surprise? Fear? Admiration? Well, it's possible for you to live your entire life without getting a single photo of an alien. However, this man here has not only achieved this feat by capturing this image here, but also shared a series of sightings at other unusual events. Curious to know how all this happened? Today, I will present to you the story of this man who photographed an alien and amazed everyone. I'm Tiago Tadeo, and welcome to the Upside Down. Stan Romanek's first UFO. Before getting to the crucial moments of photographing the alien, I first need to talk about who the photographer of these images is. The man in question is called Stan Romanek, a citizen who was born in Denver in the United States, and who since the year 2000 has a, well, very different story to tell. In December of that year, Stan had left his home in one simple purpose: to film beautiful places in the city of Denver for his girlfriend. He had just started a virtual relationship with the woman who would become his wife later on. At the time, he was trying to convince her to travel to visit him, and that's why he was filming, telling her, look, what a beautiful place. You need to visit this other place. Well, Stan was driving in a more nature-filled part of Denver when he noticed different cars parked on the side of the road. People were outside the vehicle, all looking curiously at the sky. The man ended up doing the same, and what he saw ended up taking him by surprise. A UFO was flying in broad daylight and showed no interest in the humans watching from below. In the same moment, he picked up the camera and started filming the event. He couldn't believe what he saw and had to be convinced by his girlfriend, Lisa Jeanette, that this was real. He should also have thought that after this moment, he would have sealed his fate, and you will soon understand why. Photographing an alien. The video of the UFO transformed Romanek, and over the years, he became one of the most notorious figures in ufology. Year after year, his fame grew, and the other reports ended up being recorded by him. Not that Stan has become some kind of extraterrestrial hunter. Quite the contrary, see fam? According to his account, things were happening around him, without him wanting them to. He wasn't really going after them. It was in one of those moments that Stan got the clear picture of an alien. He was at home one day when he discovered that his daughter's camera was missing. At this point, Stan was already married to Lisa, that woman he was filming for, to convince her to visit him. A few days later, the family found the camera lying in a corner of their house, and what they found in the memory, well, scared everyone. The first one is a kind of selfie of an alien, the one you are seeing now, which is enough to surprise, right? But the details can add to the shock. That's because the image brings clear elements of the extraterrestrials that are known as grays. But at this time, it presents a certain peculiarity. Some say that in this image, it is possible to see an obvious interest of the alien in the object he is holding there. Others add that their eyes shine as if fascinated by an object created by human beings. Bizarre, huh guys? After all, why so much interest in this simple object for us? What are the intentions of this photo on the part of the aliens? Was there any hidden message in this image? Many things having only this image can't be answered, but something in Stan's life could say more. After all, if you think this is the most curious part of Romanek's story, you're totally wrong, and you'll understand why. Between this hiatus between the first UFO sighting and the photo of an alien, Stan Romanek had lived through a lot. One of these events ended up being a series of abductions of which the American does not remember all the details, but which ended up generating several impacts on his public life and also on his personal life. At various times, Stan would have been taken by the aliens for more diverse observations there. Detailed, right? On many of these trips, he returned with marks on his body, as if made by some needle-like instruments. However, as he has no memory of what happened when he was taken, the reports are quite confusing and poor in information. To try to resolve this issue, a psychologist and a hypnotist who specialized in abductions offered to help Stan and held a session with him. At the time of hypnosis, Romanek started writing a mathematical formula of which he had no knowledge. That is, none he would have known, right? That calculation would be the Drake equation, a calculation made to stipulate the age of civilizations that are able to communicate within our universe. The fact impressed everyone, because possibly this knowledge would have been acquired in one of the abductions. However, due to the lack of memory of the 5th degree contact, Stan did not have complete mastery of this knowledge. Again, this still isn't the most absurd part of the story of the man who took the famous photo of an alien. After all, one of his abductions granted him something that even doctors couldn't understand: the miraculous cure. At one point in Stan Romanek's life, he He was very weak due to a serious knee injury. He was cleaning the gutters in his house when he fell down the stairs and tore some ligaments, having to keep his leg immobile and even having to schedule a surgery. However, the day before the surgery, he would have received special treatment. He only had an idea of what would have happened when his wife woke up in the morning and pointed out that his leg was not in a cast and had small holes in the skin, as we see in this image here. As he didn't feel any pain where the wound should have been, having been miraculously healed. Of course, they left some there. The plaster was found in the backyard with several burn marks, as well as the lawn also has traces that something had passed through there, right? This wind came to be interpreted as an act of favoritism of Stan on the part of the aliens, who even seemed to be taking care of the man as if he were special. In this sense, we can raise other questions. Would Romanek be a sort of chosen one among humanity to have contact with aliens? Were they treating this man only as a valuable experiment test subject? Who knows? Maybe we will find out that in the future, right? Romanek's enemies. With everything he experienced and showed the world, Romanek ended up making many enemies over the years, of course. Perhaps this even explains why the ETs took such care of him. These rivals would be both from the government, which didn't want Stan to talk about aliens, as well as other terrestrials, who for some reason were chasing him, and even his hybrid child. That's right, hybrid children. Well, this is another chapter of Stan Romanek's extraordinary life. In the comings and goings of spaceships, he would have been used for breeding experiments between the human race and aliens. This would have ended up generating about approximately 7 hybrid children. According to what said Kyoma, one of Stan's daughters, she was in frequent contact over the phone, as were other children. Most of the time, the voices were almost synthetic and sought to warn of the dangers Romanek was under. Other people also came into contact with the man who took a picture of an alien, but these were doing so to threaten his life. Well, there are people who will do anything. There was even an episode that Stan said he had to fight 3 guys who were possibly military. They approached Romanek and told him to stop what he was doing, spreading that information. It was then that a fight broke out, and Stan managed to make it out alive, but with injuries. To this day, Romanek says he is persecuted because of everything he reported from his contacts with ufology, and he has a collection of more than 200 cases until 2017. Regarding this entire catalog, the Freak World podcast highlighted a very interesting question. If only 10% of everything Stan reported is real, if only that small part is true, with only that, it is possible to prove a lot of alien things, which we currently consider very strange. Well fam, today's video is ending here, but leaving those beautiful questions in our head. Do you think Stan told the truth and nothing but the truth? That everything he says that happened in his life is real? Leave it here in the comments. And if you believe it too, let me know what you think, okay? Be well, share the video, and we'll see each other soon. A hug, and until the next time, thanks.